All right, so part two of what I'm gonna do. Okay, so if I take the tank off and I drain the tank, take it off, and pull the like take the tank right off the bike completely and pull the fuel pump out, what I can do is put like some sort of fluid film or something inside the tank, which, remember, whatever I put in there I'll have to clean out so it doesn't clog my ejectors at a later time. Or I could do a tank treatment, which is like a Teflon coating, and you see this on older motorcycles. I would do it on a newer motorcycle just so that your tank doesn't rust. This tank, the last time I took it apart, there's zero rust inside this tank. Zero, zero, zero. I like that. The fuel strainer, on this one, it's on the actual fuel pump itself, and I would like to replace that. While it's apart, you might as well do it, right? But before I get into all that, I want to see what my problem is first. So it's going to be a while. This bike isn't going on the road this year. This is now a project bike, so hopefully, if it does, it'll be at the end of the season. But you know, if I can ride this bike for 1 month out of the year, this season, just to get it back on the road, I'll be happy with that. Because I don't think it's going to take much. It's just I got to figure out what does it need. Tack works fine. The Speedo, I know Triumph used these Speedos on a bunch of bikes, and from the 595, the Trophy, I believe, like they had different clocks. Like this is the TT, like the 955Is had 955Is or whatever, or 595 or whatever. They had that on there, but other than that, it was the same console. It was the same digital whatever. If this can be fixed, great. If it can't be fixed, it might have to be replaced as an entire unit, which wasn't uncommon for these things to go. Now, getting one of these from Triumph, I can imagine, is probably not going to be cheap. And number two, if you can get them. So I might have to figure out what's going on there with my Speedo. It's wonky. The bike has about 33,000. Sorry, no, more than that. It should have about 37,000. I got this thing at 27,000 K, which is about, what would that be? Like 15,000 miles-ish. 25,000 K would be about 15,000 miles. Were those original? I don't know. Was that the first one that was on here, or the second Speedo that's been on this bike? I don't know. But I know they did a recall on these units from Triumph at one point. I don't think I could still benefit on that, but who knows? I'll call Triumph and see what they're going to say about it. So this bike's going to be an interesting project no matter what. Now, while it's apart, if I have to take it to that level, like I say, I'm going to go over every hose, I'm not going to modify the bike. Like I say, this bike doesn't need any performance enhancements whatsoever. It's fast. It's probably already has been fuel mapped just by the way it rides. I haven't had a lot of other people ride this bike, you know, so like to get their feedback on it, but anybody that I did let ride this bike said the same thing. That bike moves. And for a 600, I know it's not a 1000 and whatever. And my next bike's going to be a 1000. Just, you know, for the insurance difference, I might as well go big or go home, right? If you're going to play, you're going to pay. So, but I got lots of work to do here. I might as well do the entire tune-up, everything while I'm at it. Take my time with it. The brakes are great on this bike. Rotors aren't bad. They're still nice and smooth on the lip here, so don't have to worry about that. None of them are warped. You can do stoppies with this bike, no problem, if you're not careful. If you're coming in pretty hot, remember this bike's only 374 pounds, which is very light even by today's standards. This is a very light bike. It doesn't take much to do a stoppie on these bikes. A bit of a ridge, just starting, but the rotor's good enough on that. So brake pads are probably, I got about 3/4 of a brake pad on there, so at least I don't have to worry about the brakes. But it wouldn't hurt to change the brake fluid and flush the brakes while I'm at it. Yeah, so I just got to figure out why it's running on, you know, 2 cylinders rather than 4, and it just came on like that. It was about what had happened, and again, if you've been through this scenario before, it's not just like these videos aren't about me. These are like for anybody that has one of these, probably any Triumph of that era. Probably, I would imagine from one Triumph to the next, they probably had these common problems, and it was, you know, because they use common components from, like I say, the 595 and the 955i Daytonas. They had the same, you know, like yeah, they got a bigger engine, but they had a lot of, you know, like they had the Nissan brakes, they had the you know, the same dash and all that. The Trophy and the Sprint had the same dash. So I can imagine if I'm having the problem, they must have had problems too. So if it happened to you, what happened to me was I was out riding one day, and my speedo started going wonky on me. Now again, it's electronic. It's not. I don't know what sensor would, maybe it's another sensor somewhere else, or if it's the unit itself. I don't know. I'm going to have to rule that out somehow to test it. I'll have to figure out how to test it. So the speedo went wonky, and then it was about a month or so after, because I knew how fast I was going by my RPM. So this bike, 6 gear at 4,500 RPM to 5,000 RPM, you're doing 95 kilometers an hour, or roughly about 60 miles an hour. So I knew how to, you know, stay within the speed limit. What would happen though is after that went, it was maybe, I had heard it once and I didn't know what it was. It was weird on a startup. It sounded like it was running on 2 cylinders, and then like it went right to the 4 cylinders almost immediately. So it was just like this little glitch. And then one day I was coming back into the town. It was an awesome ride. The bike was running perfect. And then as soon as I did the little coming through the town, it also was, you know, sounded like a thumper. I was like, whoa, what's going on? It was weird. Like it rode normal, but I didn't really notice a big loss in power. But mind you, I wasn't giving it or anything like that. I was just riding normal. But I did notice it was running on the 2 cylinders, and it just sounded weird, right? So it sounded like a thumper, or not a thumper, but like a twin, right? So I get in here and it's like, okay, why does this thing sound like a Ducati now? A very smooth sounding Ducati, but it sounded like a Ducati. So it was just the two, instead of that, it was a, you know, like that, what it was just doing there. And I just haven't gotten around to it, and I definitely want to get back on the road. So especially in this day and age with all the crazy stuff going on, you need these therapy machines to kind of get you through that, but they have to run right. So if it's a problem you experienced, you know, any help was, you know, it doesn't just help me, it helps everybody after me. So when I figure it out, if I figure it out, I'll tell you what happened with the bike. There is a Facebook page called TT600 fan page or whatever. I'm on there. You'll see some of my videos on there. I'll be hitting those people up too, because I'm sure I'm not the only guy that this has happened to. And these are great little bikes. They are worth fixing. Like I say, I'm not saying they're going to go up in astronaut, you know, they're never going to be worth like an E-type Jag or something like that. They're never going to be worth anything like that. But they might go up in price as they become more rare. Especially, you know, people crash them, they modify them, they you know, just, you know, there's not a lot of them to begin with. I mean, they only made them for 4 or 5 years, you know what I mean? So that was it. So if you find one, it's kind of like a little bit of a gem. And again, everywhere you go, it makes friends. Like everybody's just interested that it's a Triumph. Like this catches the attention like you wouldn't believe. They did such a nice job on that. Some people are questioning the styling of it, but this bike, the side profile, I absolutely love. The front profile kind of looks like an evil stormtrooper kind of thing. Like it's kind of a weird kind of, but with this windscreen, it looks good. I know the single headlights are, you know, questionable, whether people like that over the, it suits this bike. It suits this bike. So it's a bit of a plump looking bike, but it's a cool bike. And again, it's it's not about, like, the view from here is pretty cool. Like, I mean, that's your view when you're riding it. You can see a lot of my videos while I'm riding it. It's pretty cool, and you can see how docile the bike is. It just, when you get into the power band of this bike, it just dances. But even at that, it's not that. It's this bike, you think it through a corner. Like, if you think about dipping into the corner, you already have. But yet it's not twitchy. It's probably one of the most forgiving sport bikes you could possibly ride. It's almost borderline sport touring. It's like CBR comfortable. It's mounted on a rail. You can hold a line with this. This thing would make an awesome track bike. No doubt about that. But it's just, I got to get it up and going. So anyway, I'm going to get to it. Well, I guess that's all I'm going to do today. But I'd like to get the fairing off today. And then I'll figure out what I'm going to do with the gas in the tank and stuff like that. Yeah, because, yeah. it's one of those things, once you get into it, you're committed, eh? So I'll see if I can eliminate the water and the coil, and then and the plug. That's the next three to eliminate. And if hopefully it's something as simple as a plug, I would be so happy if it was that simple. $11 fix, I'll take that. Even a $20 fix, I'll take that. But we'll see. So I'll keep you guys posted. There you go. And like I say, if you've experienced any of this anomaly of the 2-cylinder run, would love to hear from you guys. What it was, what you did to fix it. Yeah, and again, I don't have $1 million to put into it. Like, you know what I mean? I don't have $1 million to fix stuff. I don't have all the tools I need. This, I think, is going to be more of a digital tool requirement than a mechanical tool requirement to figure out what's what. But I know I can play process of elimination the old-fashioned way with my tester and stuff like that. There we go. All right, so have yourselves a great day, eh?